World Congress is an international body. It represents Ukrainians in the diaspora. There are about 20 million Ukrainians in the diaspora. We have organisations we're associated with in about 80 countries around the world. The Australian Federation of Ukrainian Organisations, which is the peak body for Ukrainians here in Australia, is a very active member of the Ukrainian World Congress. Obviously, we work closely, we coordinate, we deliver on some of the programs that the Ukrainian World Congress has initiated. Probably the most recent one is the Santa drones. When we were in Ukraine some time ago in November, we committed to delivering to the armed forces 1,000 drones. Obviously, it took a long time for the American governments to understand the importance of that package. That package will give Ukraine the ability to continue fighting Russia. I think everybody understands its importance. Our argument to the Australian government, it's not about a defence budget. It's not about saying we haven't got any money. It's about the future. If Ukraine wins, the international geopolitics will be in a positive state. If Ukraine loses, then Australia will also at that point in time be spending a lot more money in defence itself, because the geopolitics in our region will also change. So it was a great outcome, but again, I think it's important to understand the importance of the Ukrainian community and its advocacy in America. That's why you can't underestimate the role of the Australian Federation of Ukrainian Organisations and the organisations that are associated with the Ukrainian World Congress, because internationally we're a strong voice. Our next project is the issue of NATO and making sure that our voice is heard. So the American-Ukrainian community, very, very strong in getting that across the line. We've put a number of things to them to say, you know what, we need more bushmasters. In a meeting with President Zelenskyy that I was at recently in Chernivtsi, what did he ask for? He asked, help us to cover the skies, help us with bushmasters. We've also suggested to the Australian government that they provide money so that the industries in Ukraine, the defence industries in Ukraine, can also develop. Our goal is, as I said before, we need to make sure that Ukraine wins, Перемога, Відбудова, rebuild, and 3, keep a strong Ukrainian community going. And our strategic plan, which will be on our website, you'll see that that's the way it is constructed to deal with those issues, because community is very, very important. Whilst we have those 2 elements in terms of Ukraine, no less important is not only maintaining a strong Ukrainian community, but also developing it. And we all have a role to play. Whether you came from Ukraine 20 years ago, whether you were born here, whether you came recently, we're calling on you. And part of what we spoke about in Bucharest was how do we deal with our Pataselenci, our displaced people. We're obviously advocating to the Australian government, give us stability, give them stability in terms of visa status, and give them dignity. So that issue of having millions of Ukrainians in our communities throughout the world who have come because of the war bring new challenges. And there are 2 things that I think are very, very important. One, that influx of people have, in a sense, energized our community, but at the same time, we have to make sure that people feel comfortable, and we have to also make sure that those who have come from Ukraine understand our concept of community and how integral and how important they are to make sure that our communities grow. The diaspora today has played a huge role in supporting Ukraine. If you look at the situation since not only 2024, but going back to 2014, we've been advocating, we've been calling on governments to provide Ukraine with support. We as Australian taxpayers, and I'll talk about Australia, we as Australian taxpayers can go to government and say, we believe that you need to support this project or this project. And that's what we're doing at the moment. There are many things the Australian Federation of Ukrainian Organisations, through Defend Ukraine appeal, through the Ukraine crisis appeal, through our humanitarian program, we've been, I think, punching way above our weight. And that's only because we have a strong community, we have good people in the community, we have a community that understands the importance of unity. We may not always agree on things, but when it comes to priorities, we're able to prioritise. And I want to take this opportunity to thank our Australian Ukrainian community, because they've been fantastic. Everybody's played a role, everybody's trying to do something, everybody's supporting Ukraine. So those three pillars that we have, one is the defence of Ukraine and Ukraine winning. Number two is the rebuild of Ukraine. And the third, the keeping of a strong Ukrainian community. They're our priorities, and we'll get there. And I have a saying, I often just use the Nike saying, just do it.